What's up, Effortless investors, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you never miss out on a video. Today, we're diving into how you can build a £100,000 investment portfolio. In the video, we're going to be covering what platforms you can use, how much you'll need to invest, and what to invest in. Whether you're looking to grow your wealth or save for the future, this video is for you. Let's get started. Before we go any further, I do want to point out that I'm not a financial advisor, so please do your own research before making any investment decisions. Remember, all investing comes with risks, and you could lose money. The content shared here reflects my personal opinions and may not be right for everyone. Always stay informed and make the decisions that work best for you. With that out of the way, if you're completely new to investing, let's go over what exactly is an investment portfolio. It's simply a collection of assets you own, like shares, bonds, funds, or even property. The idea is to grow your wealth whilst balancing risk and reward. If you're thinking, I don't have loads of money to invest, don't worry. Thanks to the platforms and tools we'll discuss in this video, you can start with as little as £10 a month and still build something meaningful. When building your portfolio, there's one key concept to remember, and it's diversification. Now, you've probably heard that term thrown around quite a lot, but it's essentially just a fancy way of saying, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. It's important to spread your investments across different industries, asset types, and even countries. By spreading your investments, if one area of the market takes a hit, the rest of your portfolio can help balance things out. I'll get into what to invest into later in the video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Alternatively, you can use the time codes in the video description to jump to that part of the video if you'd like. Moving swiftly along, let's get to the how. Let's talk about what platforms to use. Here in the UK, we're fortunate to have some fantastic options for investing, and in reality, it's never been easier to open an account and start investing. Now, as I see it, I can break it down to 4 options for you, depending on the type of investor it is you want to be. As I see it, you've got hands-off investors, hands-on investors, fee-conscious investors, and beginners. For hands-off investors, you've got robo-advisors like Moneybox, Nutmeg, or Plum. What these robo-advisor platforms do is that they build and manage a diversified portfolio for you based on your goals and risk tolerances that you set out within the app. For full transparency, I haven't used any robo-advisors before, but my partner, however, has used and does use Plum. She seems quite happy with it, although I'm not sure she's fully aware of what it is she's invested in, but that seems to work for her. If you also just want to dip your toe into an investment account but are finding it difficult to pick which funds you want, it may be worth looking at robo-advisors as well. Now, for the more hands-on investor, you've got established platforms like Hargreaves and Lansdowne, AJ Bell, or Interactive Investor. They all let you choose your own investments, including the shares and funds and ETFs you want to invest in. Those 3 that I've just mentioned have all been around for decades and are well established. Some of them may have higher fees than you're willing to pay, so it's important to do your own research and have a little look into what your limit for fees would be. That moves us very nicely onto the fee-conscious investors, where you have platforms such as Vanguard UK, who offer pretty low-cost access to index funds and ETFs. Again, with Vanguard, they're another firm that have been around for decades. And spoiler alert, I'll be speaking a little more later in the video about some of their ETFs that I'm a particular fan of. And lastly, but by no means least, you've got the beginner investor. If you're a beginner, you might be starting out with smaller amounts of money, or you might be the kind of beginner that just wants to trade in fractional shares, in which case apps and platforms like Free Trade or Trading 212 are great for commission-free trading. Now, that's not to say those 2 platforms in particular are just for beginners. For full transparency, Trading 212 is my personal platform of choice. Now, before choosing a platform, I would probably recommend you think about the following. You think about the fees in terms of, is there an annual charge for having the account on that investment platform? Are there additional charges for each transaction that you perform? How easy is the platform to use? And the type of investments you want access to. If you're in the UK, check if the platform offers a stocks and shares ISA. It's just a tax-efficient way to grow your investments. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. I would also recommend that whatever platform it is you choose, that it's FCA regulated and FSCS protected. What this essentially means is that the firm or the platform that you're signed up with is regulated to ensure that they provide you with services that are clear, fair, and in any way not misleading. The FSCS will then also protect your investment up to the value of £85,000 should the firm go bankrupt. Now that you hopefully have a sense of what platform you may want to use, the next question to answer is how much should you invest? To put it plain and simply, the golden rule is to only invest money you won't need in the short term. It's always worth making sure you have an emergency fund set up before putting money into the stock market, because no investment is guaranteed. I previously made a video about the 2 steps you need before investing in the stock market. I'll pop a little link in the top right of this video for you now. Once you've decided that you're going to invest, make sure that you aim to invest regularly. Ideally, if you have no debts, the general advice would be to invest around 15 to 20% of your monthly income. But even £50 or £100 a month can make a huge difference over time. Now, the age you start investing at will also have an impact on this. I'm sure we can all agree that generally the younger we are, the less money we tend to have. And unfortunately, the older we are, the less time we have then to take advantage of compound interest. But that's not to say that we can't benefit from it at all. So I'm going to run through 2 examples at different ends of the spectrum. I'm going to use an online compound interest calculator for you. I'll pop a link in the description to that calculator for you. So for the first example, we're going to take an 18-year-old who's working 40 hours a week for minimum wage. I'm going to assume that this 18-year-old is still living at home and their parents are kind of not to be charging them rent. Only a small charge to help cover some living expenses like food and utilities. Now let's say that their monthly income after tax and expenses is £950.25. And let's say they take 20% of that and put it into a stocks and shares ISA, so around about £190. If they invest that £190 a month into a fund tracking the S&P 500 index, an average of 10% annual return, it'll take just 17 years to generate a portfolio of £103,000. Now, 17 years might seem like quite a lot to an 18-year-old, but if you think of it like in your mid-30s, you'll have a savings of £100,000, you'd take that. I mean, how many of us in our mid-30s have a savings account with £100,000 in it? I'm willing to bet it's not a lot. Now, if we move on to the second example, if we take a 40-year-old working a 9-to-5 job with the UK average monthly salary of £2,414 after tax, again, let's say they're able to put 20% of their monthly salary into a stocks and shares ISA and into an S&P 500 tracking fund, which would be £482. In just 10 years, they would have an investment portfolio totaling £100,000. Now, it obviously pays to start earlier, but you can see how it can also be achieved even if you start much later in life. If you'd like to figure out how much you could accumulate, I'll leave a link in the description to the compound interest calculator that I used for this video. So now that we've figured out what platform to use and hopefully how much we can or want to invest, let's talk about what to invest in. You've effectively got 4 options. Firstly, you've got individual stocks. These will give you a partial ownership of a company. They're higher risk, but offer great potential for long-term growth. Some individual stocks will even pay out a dividend just for owning the stock, which is a nice way of earning some passive income. What stocks you choose to invest in will likely depend on your investment goals. Some of the more common ones are the big 7, so you've got Apple, Nvidia, Meta, Google, Amazon, and Tesla. It's important to remember though that judging the growth potential of a stock is difficult, so please make sure you do your own research before you invest in any individual stocks. Next up, you've got ETFs, or exchange traded funds. Think of these as baskets of investments. Some ETFs will track market indexes like the S&P 500 or the FTSE 100. Others may track specific sectors like technology or finance. I would recommend picking an all-world ETF. This will give you great exposure across the globe and great diversification. Maybe one like the Vanguard FTSE All-World ETF or VWRL. As a personal preference, I don't invest in an ETF that hasn't been established for 10 years or more. This just gives me a bit of confidence in the stability of the ETF. Another popular ETF in the UK would be VUSA, which is the Vanguard ETF that tracks the S&P 500 index. This fund averages out at about 10% annually, which falls right in line with the how much to invest in examples I gave earlier. But again, as with individual stocks, try and do your own research and make sure that whatever ETF it is you decide to invest in, it aligns with your goals and your risk tolerances, more importantly. Next up, we have bonds, which are lower risk. They provide steady income and can balance out your portfolio. Now, some investors might say that they're boring and pointless just because they provide very little growth and the income is not guaranteed. But I personally think that they do have a place within an investment strategy. I just don't invest in bonds from within my stocks and shares ISA. I tend to do that separately. In the UK, we have NS&I bonds, which are a nice tax-efficient way to invest, as there's no tax on what you invest or any gains you get from them. And finally, you've got property funds or REITs. They will give you exposure to the real estate market without having to buy a house. They work much like a stock that pays a dividend. Some will even pay out a dividend every month. An example of one of those would be Realty Income, which has ticker symbol O. REITs tend to have a lower growth potential than stocks or ETFs, but their benefit is that they're required to pay out 90% of their profits to shareholders, which makes them an attractive investment from an income perspective. Now, if you're unsure where to start, as mentioned previously, consider broad market funds like an S&P 500 ETF or a FTSE All-World Tracker. These types of funds will give you an exposure to a wide range of companies, and they're great for beginner investors. Now, if you're wondering why crypto isn't included in this list, it's purely based on my personal opinion. Essentially, with the 4 options you have on the screen, you know what you're investing in. To me, crypto doesn't appear to be a tangible asset as yet, and although you can make money from it, because I don't know where the investment is going, it's not an asset I feel comfortable recommending you invest in. But as always, it's important that you do your own research into it and decide whether or not it's an investment you are comfortable with. Whatever it is you invest in, make sure it's from within a stocks and shares ISA, if you're in the UK, as you can invest up to £20,000 per year tax-free, with the added benefit that any income or growth you gain from your investments are also tax-free. And there you have it. Now you hopefully have an insight or a plan into how to create a £100,000 investment portfolio. To sum it up, building an investment portfolio is all about starting small, staying consistent, and keeping your long-term goals in mind. Remember, investing is a journey, not a sprint. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's ready to start investing. Let me know in the comments, what's your next step for building your portfolio? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.